I'd like to comment about the CRT issue. And I was part of one of the first movements back in the 70s, excuse me, where they basically tried similar things in schools, and they called it busing. And they took whites and bused them to black neighborhoods and vice versa, trying to basically integrate the two. It failed miserably. All that basically happened was the people that had means just basically moved out of the city. They left. They didn't want to deal with it. Because what it does is it creates tribalism. It doesn't integrate anybody. It basically, people of like-minded people, like color, they tend to gather together. There's nothing wrong with that. They feel safe in those areas. It doesn't mean they're racist.
Wait a minute. Is that made in where? Wait. Is that made? Drop it. China. Is that made in China? No, made in China. You don't think in China? Follow him to the dump shop.
I'd like to take this opportunity to congratulate Greg Mancini. Now that the season of election season is coming up, I want everybody to realize how successful he has been. He has, let's see, close to 900 votes now that he's been able to control two women next to him. And it's amazing to me. I want to know your tricks, Greg. I've been trying to do that at home. I can't do it. Ladies of North Kingstown are all aware of this now. And I think the ladies next to you should really be embarrassed to know that in order to have that many votes in succession, you could have hit the lottery. It's just amazing. I don't know how you did it, but you did it, Greg. I'd like to congratulate you. And the two ladies to your right need to be hanging their head in shame. Kim Page, you're always on the same page, no pun intended.
There's a lot of rallies around an upcoming decision or debate in the U.S. Supreme Court. There's been a couple of these rallies, and certainly people have the right to do it. It's their First Amendment right.
I don't think you could get a more politically charged rally that could be met with opposition, and the police need to be prepared for that. And given that this was presumptively approved based on her behavior, I'm a no.
Captain Barry reached out to Nancy Raffi and advised her that a detail would be required. And my understanding is that she has said okay.
So let me ask the council this. Doesn't it make sense that a rally of this nature would be held up at the State House or up in front of Planned Parenthood in a tightly knit little neighborhood that people have to travel in and out to get through?
The town or any state or municipality cannot deny permits to people because the subject of the gathering is going to be controversial or unpopular.
Right, that makes sense.
That selective enforcement cannot be done.
Does anyone on the council have any item they want to pull from items 11 to 23?
21 and 22, please.
Okay, Ms. Brimer, I hope we can take items 21 and 22 together.
If we could take them together, I have a conscientious objection to this, and I'm going to abstain from voting on it, so I'll step away from the table.
Merely approving here somebody's free First Amendment right to free speech, to be able to gather and to be able to voice their opinion, and to, as the fact that is an exhibit license, that they're going to be giving information out to folks. And I think, if anything, that's what democracy is all about.
Committee members publicly push for abortion rights is also something that I find offensive.
You're a coward.
No name calling. Okay, it's a violation of the rules. No name calling. Okay, you can say what you say, want, but
Calling someone a coward is not calling him a name. It's just.
I think it is.
describing
I think it is, sir.
Well, I think I outrank you as well.
Is the Recs Department willing to strike the language in Section B, all of it, parts 1, 2, 3, and 4?
That's up to the council to decide whether or not it wants firearms to be permitted in playgrounds.
Well, the problem is there's a number of residents here that that have legitimate concealed carry permits, and this potentially puts them in jeopardy with the police.
Pretty common language in most ordinances throughout the state. If this council does not want to or wants to allow firearms in playgrounds, of course, the council can strike this language.
And this ordinance is going to jeopardize people that are law-abiding.
Even law-abiding citizens not allowed to carry weapons in state parks and playgrounds.
This proclamation feels good, but it accomplishes absolutely nothing. It serves to virtue signal for a PAC that several members of this council happen to serve. Councillor Anderson is a member of Moms Demand Action. I believe you even lobby for them, Greg.
No, I don't.
No, you don't? Okay. My mistake.
Not a problem.
I apologize. A number of
Don't worry about
emails
it.
received. Ironically, awareness turns into virtue signaling when the activist resorts to shaming and outrage for another not agreeing with them.
Shame on you, madam. Shame on you.
Let's leave it
No,
there.
no, I'm not done yet. No, I'm not done yet.
So my family, we own 2 guns in our family, and we've taken safety courses. But a simple proclamation, that's all we're asking to say, that we don't want any more violence in North Kingstown, but we have to sit here and argue about it. That's all I'm saying.
A short and explosive meeting of the North Kingstown School Committee after people in the audience shouted down members and refused to follow the school's mask policy.
The CDC does not know about this virus.
So again, as we mentioned before, we won't be able to continue the meeting until people are complying with the mandate issued by the governor regarding the wearing of masks in school.
Gregory Blasbog, chairman of the school committee, calling it a chaotic and potentially dangerous atmosphere, saying people in attendance loudly spoke over speakers, threw objects, and took over the microphone without being recognized. The members of the school committee felt that it was not safe for the meeting to continue, so we voted to adjourn.
Make a motion to adjourn.
What is the name of your attorney so that we can prosecute?
Police were called in to clear the crowd.
They ended it because, number one, they said someone wasn't wearing a mask. She had 2 medical exemption forms. So they said, no, she still couldn't go. So she ended up yelling at them. You can yell all you want. It's a free country from what I still remember. So, but she had doctor's notes. And then we had other people yelling, stop the CRT, where, this is not right. And, all us domestic terrorists is what they call us.
All of a sudden, they just adjourned and walked off.
They're cowards. They knew they were outnumbered for supporters tonight, and they're cowards, they called it. Lima supporters might think that they won a little victory tonight, but that doesn't mean that the recall supporters are defeated. Voter intimidation is no longer looking like menacing men at polling locations. Today, it looks like miserable, mostly middle-aged women with nothing to lose, spewing hatred behind their screens on social media.
Violation of our rules, and you
This whole gender thing is about this identity, using your pronouns, this and that. This identity, using your pronouns, this and that. So the creativity has now extended to identify. So
okay, so from now on, anyone who says, oh, she's not talking about trans people, she's not talking about trans people, it is about trans people. She is spreading these false rumors in order to attack the idea of identifying as XYZ.
So my complaint to the school committee is about DEI subcommittee. I'd like to know why I wasn't chosen.
I'd have to ask you to wrap up, please.
I'd like to know why I wasn't chosen. I applied. Just so happens that I'm a registered Republican, and all the selected are Democrats and 1 independent.
Again, if you could please wrap up,
why am I
sir.
not considered? Did you discriminate against my skin color, my sexual orientation, my voter affiliation? Where's the diversity, equity, and inclusiveness? The DEI committee is a farce and pointless. Attended the meeting.
Sir, your time is up.
One of the meetings.
Sir, your time is
started
up.
out with color blindness.
Sir,
Okay?
your time is up, please.
I'm not done.
Sir, everyone gets the same amount of time. Doesn't matter what you're saying, you get the same amount of time as everyone else.
So I guess I'm colorblind because I always refer to myself, I always looked at it as you don't...
Make a motion for a recess.
You don't judge yourself for people by the color of their skin.
Do I have a
but the
second?
content of their character.
Second, all those in favor?
So am I racist?
Aye.
What is it?
Any opposed?
Something that's...
We're in
not-
recess. Thank you, sir. Folks, we're going to call the meeting back to order. So just as a reminder, and I apologize, I don't care what you have to say. We ask that everyone please limit your comments to 3 minutes so that everyone has an opportunity to speak and that we can conduct our business.
and you'll see why it will explain. I did not vote for Judge McGuirl to do this investigation, but I do have to thank her for what she produced. It helps explain how this happened, why it goes unreported. I'm going to write a summary of my impression of this report. So I'm going to write up a summary of my thoughts and reading it after, and I'll have that published on the nkrepublicans.org website if anybody wants to go read it, or if you want to be on our distribution list, you can sign up.